and experiential and luxury brands. Very nice. All right, so Dennis is next and final for today. And next week we have a big roster too. So if anyone wants to be here, between 1:30 and 5:30 next week to bust Jeremy's shop.
If you're planning on bringing a huge judge board, make it just for his presentation.
What?
If you're planning on bringing like a whole ass judge, just be for your
I'm not. I'm okay with it. I'm just saying it was surprised.
Nada más se grabaron los primeros 10 minutos.
Yo sabía.
I mean, it's como que una llamada. And just one pitch.
What about you? Are you doing it?
La cámara.
Yeah,
Por eso ya no
yeah.
está en cámara, es más 54 y llega, lo que da son
Let me introduce myself. I'm live movie.
Yeah.
son 20 minutos.
No, we're talking about
54
yeah.
Está por el quality.
What?
Yo no bajé el share.
Oh, you're supposed to be. I forgot.
Where
No, this is your head.
But I did do a presentation actually for the whole program.
I forgot. Yeah, no, I don't know why I was thinking. I forgot. Yeah, you guys are lucky. You just gotta do an internship. Wait, how long is your paper? How much?
But I did.
No, that's good because you have real experience and you just gotta like, yeah, cool.
I actually did a 7.
For what?
I did I did something. Oh, was it internship or
Oh, okay. So that's what you know. I see. So that's good. It was good.
Good, so far so good. Say you're gonna
Yeah, no, I should say no. Someone sitting there.
Poneme por aquí. And I sit here.
You're sure you're not trying out for a secret agency that you protect aliens on Earth?
Okay.
Right. Men in Black.
Anytime you're ready, Dennis.
We've been over this. Bad jokes first and come to good ones.
Okay, good afternoon, people. This is my final project. Social game as part of a marketing strategy. My presentation will be very short. I hope that's a good thing. And I designed it that way, considering that you already have read my whole material. So, let's start with my agenda, sorry, because I had an agenda. I'm gonna have an introduction to the project, an introduction to the topic, my research approach, my findings or results, my analysis, and recommendations. I'll start with why did I pick this topic? But
That was cool.
it's just a transition. I didn't want to I chose this topic because, well, I am a gamer, so I do have a problem. So why not research about it? So let's start with marketing. Marketing is the discipline, science, art, people have called it many things, that look to communicate the value of a product or service in looking for an exchange and to gain profit. So marketing in hand has a marketing mix. In this marketing mix, promotion. In promotion, you have another mix of 5. The one I'll be working with would be advertising. Advertising has evolved through the ages or through time. And after the internet, we have had many new ways to advertise and to reach people. One of the latest was the social media marketing, which includes Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Google+, and like I'm almost sure Bianca talked about, I think, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I wasn't here. You can create, there are so many ways to reach consumers. You can create content, you can engage with them, you can communicate with them. Well, In the social media marketing, I was researching and I thought, well, social games now are like a trend. A lot of people are playing, and I think it deserves a shot. I mean, you can use it to your benefit if you're a marketer, and if you're in the video game industry, you can actually sell the service. So let's start with that. Social games have the potential to be used as an effective promotional channel to target the specific consumers in a very similar way to other social media and mass media channels, like printed ads, radio, television. And I looked for those because I'm saying they're old and outdated. Like ads on TV these days, they are really, really expensive. Most companies, especially if they are low-income companies, have better use of social media and the internet at lower cost. But there are limitations. On social media, you can reach people in different ways, creating content on Facebook, having followers, creating a blog. There is YouTube, you can upload videos, but if a company like Walmart or Target wanted to reach a general audience, it would be a bit more complicated. But social games, you can identify exactly who is playing. Each one of these apps is synchronized to your email, social media account, and has already all your data. So, continuing with that, let's first take a look at what the industry is all about. The video game industry generated in 1999 7 billion just in the United States and 32 billion worldwide. This year also marks the year the video game systems began to increase in revenue. Before this, the whole industry was struggling, but mid-90s, with new developments, new technologies, this all began to change, and I'll tell you why later. So, in 2013, the annual growth of the revenue increased in 9%. And just in the United States, in comparison to 1999, you can see that the numbers are a bit more than double. No, actually triple. When in the United States, the industry generated 21.53 million and 76 billion worldwide. And I can add to this that the projections for 2016 and 17 are 80 million and 82 million respectively. And there is a very good reason why this is happening, but I'll get to that later. 59% of all Americans play video games. And I found this out as a result of research and also the surveys that I administered. And 53% of all Americans actually do play on smartphones, even if it's like blackjack or poker or something silly like pinball, but they do. And more than 250 million people play on Facebook every day. So, my research approach was a mixed one between primary and secondary data, and qualitative data in the form of a case study that I am not really going to talk much about in this presentation, but it's in my thesis, document reviews, an interview, and my own analysis as a marketing professional and a gamer. So, problem statement. In order to be innovative and take advantage, sorry about that, of the potential of the advertising with social games, this research intends to examine the following questions. What is the potential social games possesses for advertising? What benefits can be expected from social games marketing strategies? How can marketers take advantage of the social games? Who are the consumers using social games? What strategies can marketers use in social gaming? And my hypothesis, I said this in the introduction, and that's the topic too, so. Findings. Like I said, 59% of the Americans play video games. The average household owns at least one dedicated video game console. And surprisingly, not for kids, mostly adults. And there's a reason. Social gameplay on smartphone has increased 55% from 2012 to 2013. This is real. 47% of the gamers play social games exclusively. The current trend is that social games will replace console gaming, which I must say might not happen because console games are actually adapting. So, in 2013, I already said, just in the United States, the revenue was 21.53 billion, and from this, it was 15.39 just in game content, either on consoles or mobile devices, meaning that Google Play, the App Store, and the Windows Store are making a lot. Yeah,
This is US, right? Not
yeah,
world.
just the US, not worldwide. That would have been a lot of work. So, hardware was only 4.26%, and this is including game discs, the consoles, and this is why some are saying that social games are going to replace the consoles. But in fact, that might change because 2013 was the year the Nintendo Wii U was launched, which was the first of the newer generation of consoles that is compatible with social media and social games. In 2014, 1 year after this, Microsoft launched Xbox One and Sony launched the PS4. I'm going to be talking about that later. And this is why there are so many gamers. According to the research and my survey, the average age of the gamers between 21 and 29. Most of the video game industry boom, well, the biggest boom was mid-90s, late 80s. These are the same people that grew up playing video games, and now as adults, they still play video games. Like, this is worse than cigarettes and alcohol, you start, you don't quit. And they're teaching their kids. So, this is why there is a trend of an increase, because they are already playing, they won't quit, and they would teach their kids. And as a matter of fact, and this is a funny note, my mother, she has a smartphone. She was introduced to the smartphones like a few years ago. And the last she told me is that she wants an iPad or a tablet so she can play better with a bigger screen. So that's funny.
Can I say something?
Well, yeah.
Just to support your idea. Social gaming is big for moms. Like every time we have a client trying to reach moms, we use social gaming. Social gaming, not Xbox, not nothing. Because moms, like I'm talking about from the 30s to the 50s, are the top people playing social.
Yeah, around 46% of all the people playing social games are women in the ages of 30 and 50 something
It's crazy.
that are usually housewives. Even though, yeah,
Yep, it's true.
even though
It's huge.
social games are played by people in their at work. So
Social games meaning more you're interacting with somebody like Scrabble, wordplay.
yeah,
those
games
things
like that,
But-
and there are
but-
even more complicated ones
But on Facebook.
on Facebook.
on Facebook.
So
Yeah.
what about when like a kid is on the killing games with the like
Call of
Microsoft
Duty?
Xbox Call of Duty with somebody in
Oh yeah,
some
I
other
have
state?
Call of Duty in one of my
Is that
examples
social
here.
gaming?
That's not.
Well, well. That's online
You
game.
mean like an app?
Well, because they can play with
But-
people in anywhere else.
Yeah,
It's
but
a combo.
they are getting mixed with the whole social game thing. Like for social game, you're understanding the apps that they use only on Facebook and on your
Social,
phone.
it's referring to social networks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
but now with the Xbox One and the PS4, you are actually because
Yes.
your social network accounts are connected. And the PlayStation actually went even further, adding one button called share. Whatever you're playing, you can in any moment hit share and it's gonna go straight to Facebook, Google Plus, or whatever you want. So, game gender. This varies. This is the result of my own survey. 36.96% of the gamers were females, but other sources actually have the female number closer to the male number. So women are almost an equal part of the gamer population. And another interesting finding, is the freemium equation. Free content and then premium content. The most social games actually do work like this. They offer, you can download or play for free, but there are limitations in the game that if you want to progress faster or you want to get certain items, you have to buy. This is a gold mine. A lot of people do it. So, my analysis. Evolution of video games. The industry started in 1967 with the brown box. Okay, not that brown box, this one. Brown box by Ralph Bauer. I'm not gonna go in detail how we got to the Nintendo, but then we got the Nintendo. Super Nintendo 64 in the mid-90s, then 2000s we had the Wii, the GameCube, then the Wii, and the latest one in 2014, the Nintendo Wii U, which is the one that is compatible with social networks and has a whole different universe. It's adapted. So PlayStation also started in 1999 and has evolved to PS4. PS1, 2, 3, and 4. And this is the one that actually has that button right here, share. Then you got the Xbox that started in 2001, famous for this game that I don't recall the name because I don't like Xbox. Halo. Here's one. And also Call of Duty. The latest one, for some reason, Xbox One. It's like they thought in Microsoft that they screwed up with the Xbox, they screwed up with the 360, and they started with one again. So,
Who has Grand Theft Auto?
I use the console.
actually Grand Theft Auto is published by Rockstar, and they make their games for both Xbox and PlayStation.
And
Cross
PC.
platform.
And PC, yeah, sorry. I'm not talking too much about the PC because,
Don't worry about it, you got it.
But,
I'm just
yeah.
backing you up.
so, another thing that is cool and I already mentioned is the capabilities that they have for synchronization. Like they all are compatible with social networks. Nintendo is key with these portable devices that they can synchronize and they have all the games. They make you buy a lot of stuff just to play a game, in other words. And then the PlayStation actually has an app. I mean, they share to social networks. You can sign into your social networks and just in case, they have an app. So this is what happens with Facebook, gaming, and gaming in general. It's addictive. Like I said, this is proven. So, some games actually have made it from mobile devices and Facebook to consoles. Angry Birds, it's the biggest example of one of the most successful social games, or mobile games, made it to PlayStation. It was a bust, but made it. And recently, another game made it from console to mobile.
Oh, yeah.
Expect Super Mario Bros. I think. I'm not sure if it was released already, but it's coming to mobile.
Buy that.
I will have that.
Buy that.
I already have customers. So, in conclusion, again, social games have a big, huge potential to be used as an effective and promotional channel for companies because they reach a large audience. And that's a key word here, audience. So, social media is barely a decade old, and it has been like very, very successful. The gaming industry, half a century old with struggles, but it has been going up since the 2000s, and it doesn't seem like it's gonna stop anytime soon. So I already said the last part, so my recommendations. Digital ads. Social games have this potential to advertise, and they are actually using it, but it's not open. It's closed between developers. For example, the one to the left, yeah, that's right, it's Candy Crush. This, that dark pink is the actual game that it's covered by this ad. It's one of their own games developed by King. Apparently after Candy Crush, now they have soda. They got something with diabetes or something like that, but they have a new game and they're using the same game to advertise. And this one is Subway Surfers, another kind of popular game, advertising Clash of Clans, which they actually have a lot of publicity, a lot of ads, even in TV and everywhere. So another thing that can be done, this is a Call of Duty, games are trying to be a lot more realistic. This is not real, but it could look like that. If they open to it, if companies reach developers or developers look for companies to offer that service, it actually looks realistic. And if you go to a stadium, you would actually find that. That looks like, well, I don't know what that looks like. Well, anyway, this is something recent. MLB The Show 2015 launched March 31st, so like 3 weeks ago. It's actually doing something like this. This is product placement or cross promotion, in which now in the game, they encourage players to actually earn the branded equipment. You can see here Under Armour, Rolling, Nike, and Franklin. This is a very good way to advertise. And think about it like this. MLB The Show, it's exclusive for PlayStation. The game is sold out the first day. That means that's a lot of people playing the game. That's a lot of exposure for these brands. And now you have that button that you can share your content to your social networks. And that means that not only the gamers are going to be seeing this, but also anyone you have on your Facebook account or your Twitter following you. So that's even more exposure. And it works to my advantage as it's proving my point. So, promotional games. This one I was surprised to see. Apparently Century 21 had the idea, they developed an app with this developing company, I had the name, it's a weird one, I don't remember. But they developed the game and people actually engaged and they ended up, the game is about constructing a city and you have to be a real estate agent or something like that, have buildings, And people actually began to have Century 21 buildings, engage with them, and like they said, in a way that goes beyond advertisement. They're creating a bond. So, this is the one I used for my case study back in 2012. The Avengers movie had a 5-year marketing plan, which included the other movies coming to it, Iron Man 1 and 2, Thor, Captain America, a lot of promotion on other channels and social media. They actually developed this game that was exclusively to promote the movie. The game was so successful that it's still on, still running. The game is independent now. It had like special operations or missions related to the movies. Each movie had a special operation that had content similar to the movie. So they were creating expectation, and it worked because all the movies were like very good. And well, yeah, I'm done. I'm basically done. This is. It was so successful that they actually did it again. For this movie that's coming now, they have this. Okay, that didn't play. Whatever. They have an special operation Age of Ultron, the same thing like the last time. And this I found interesting while I was just researching. Someone published on May 31st, Social Gaming as a Marketing Strategy. That's an interesting article, and it has the same idea I made my paper about. Luckily, by that day, I had already submitted my paper, so I did not copy. Thank you.
Good job. Question?
I have a comment. Like your point, I didn't do much research about going into gaming as part of the strategy, but I suggested it. And now that Bianca said like a lot of moms are on it, that's the target market, like also for luxury fashion brands. So we definitely should work to have like these brands somehow into the game. And I like the example of the gloves like, that are branded. That's kind of the idea I have, but I didn't know it was being done. So.
It's all new. Any more questions?
You showed some examples of brands who have done it well. Do you have any others that you didn't include? And do you have any examples of anybody who didn't use it well, who did maybe some gaming advertising that went bad?
Well, actually, I researched a lot about it, trying to find other examples, and there's not a lot of information. There is not academic work, and very few companies are engaging in this type of strategies. That's why I found it so interesting, because there is a huge potential and there is a huge audience that they can reach. But this is not so popular yet, but the trend is that it will be. Yeah.
Yes, the inventory is available, but for some reason, the clients sometimes are having trouble making the decision to go into gaming. I don't know if from a marketing standpoint, maybe they believe the association would be weird, or maybe they would be like delicate towards which kind of games would display their ads.
Yeah.
But like, the user is there, and they are like, some good practices is like, for example, if you watch this ad, we'll give you an extra life, something like that. Like that's interesting, but it's weird how the clients are not always willing to go that route. I don't know if it's because the clients are like big rumors, maybe they don't believe it, or I don't know, but there's something
Well,
there.
the thing about selling something is showing how it works and that it works. If it's a product, you have to demonstrate. If it's a service, you're gonna have to sample the first try for free or something like that. The thing about this, since it's new, is that you have to get the right examples. I didn't mention, but that was a good point. You cannot advertise, let me see, Pampers, for example, in Call of Duty.
Exactly.
Like, really? That would be like seriously wrong. But then that's the point of view you have to provide your client. You have to, you can't ask him, hey, do you want your ad in a game? But like, what game? What do you think? You have to research, see what games are compatible, and actually give him a good proposal. And I think there shouldn't be like any confusion or trouble.
I just thought of a question. Did you
Oh,
find
thank you.
anything about the gamers' trust in advertising? For example, sometimes you download apps that have some links for advertisement, but in my mind, it's always a scam.
I know your point.
Have you
like-
found anything about that? Like the
Okay, you're going more to the
gamers'
trust.
about
I was actually
clicking an
itching
ad or something.
to talk about that. And, well, not exactly the, what? What? Not exactly about trust, because yeah, online, not only on gaming, there are a lot of spam. And usually you want to avoid them, but it's technically impossible, especially if you are not paying for your product or service. But on the other hand, ads and games, there is a very thin line between how you place an ad and how successful it's going to be, and you placing that ad and being a total bust because it interferes with the gaming experience. That's something that you gotta bear in mind too. If you, going back to your question, if you place an ad, it's the right game, it's the right market, everything smoothly, but it doesn't result. You have to be careful, because if the reason might be that you place the ad, but the ad is interfering with the gaming experience and thus creating a whole negative experience for the consumers, and therefore the brand related to the ad actually decreases because it's their fault.
Yeah.
So, okay.
I just wanted to give like a quick example of how we,
Go on.
I work for a company that advertises in a magazine that's called Tech Target, and it's specifically for CIOs. But what they did was they took the concept of gaming and they mixed it with something else, because they're content driven. So if you want to buy like information governance, or you want to know what's happening with big data, you tune into that digital magazine. But it has it's very interactive, because it gives you quizzes, and at the end it tells you how many you know or how many you've succeeded, and it's it's mixing the experience of reading really good content with being able to quiz, knowing all the quizzes, and at the same time interacting in social media, because it connects directly to, has questions that you can answer in social media. So even though you cannot take gaming itself and create a game, you can always integrate it into a concept.
Sounds interesting.
I
So,
guess I have an unrelated question, but who makes all the games? Is it like a small group,
no,
producers?
no,
or-
really, there are different developers. Actually, I think in 2013 there was this app very popular. What was the name? It was like a bird,
Ooh,
Flappy
Flappy
Bird.
Mhm.
Flappy Bird.
Oh.
That was a random guy from Asia that developed the app, uploaded it to the app stores, and it became viral. It went viral.
Yeah.
But most of these games, there are startup companies that grew up with the games, like Zynga, like Laydon from England, and well, I had another one in mind. I don't know.
Rovio?
Huh?
Rovio?
Yeah, Rovio, that's the Angry Birds one. That's another. They're all different developers. So, any questions?
Yeah, these, you mentioned more traditional media channels, and in case of television, you often hear that someone watches a show or a sports game and they're frankly annoyed by the number of commercials coming up. And so it's too much at that point. Do you see that the gaming industry might become the victim of that at some point, that there's so much, because right now it's subtle and it's good, but the tendencies are that these companies don't know when to stop, they just keep pushing it in your face, and they don't know when to stop.
Yeah,
and
that's
then
the thing. That's the
industry
thing.
itself will suffer.
radio, television, printed ads, social media, games, it's all very different and it's managed in a very different way. If developers permit that advertisers come in and do that, games are going to be posts after posts. So they know this, and that's probably the reason why we still don't advertise that much on games, because they're being careful about it, and they should, to avoid that. So.
All right. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Great job. Everybody who went today did a really good job. Thank you. It's nice presentations.
Is that it?
That is it for today.
Oh my gosh.
On Tuesday next week, we have Ariel Casado at 10:30. He's kind of a standalone. 10:30 a.m. because I was booked from 1:30 to 5:30 in here, although I might move it into the closed room
Check
there.
this stuff out. She was just wondering if she is
Okay.
on the
Just
fifth.
want to stop the
Yeah,
video.
she's on the phone with her.
Okay.
And as tonight, there's a finance
Oh, yeah.